Right then, good afternoon everyone. How are we all doing? We are good to go, I think. Let me just check the audio. But yeah, how's everyone doing? Hope everyone's had a good Monday. Hope everyone's doing well today as well. Had a good Tuesday so far as well. The calm before the storm. Tomorrow night is when things start to pick up a little bit with the news. Obviously, we've got Fed meeting minutes, which we'll get into in a minute. We've got Fed meeting minutes, which we'll get into in a second. Let me just check the audio is good. Yeah, we're all good to go. Before we get started, guys, like the stream, all that good stuff. Afternoon, Dan. How you doing? But yeah, so calm before the storm. Tuesday, the day before things start to pick up a little bit. So today, basically no news. No news Monday, no news Tuesday. On these type of days when there's no news, it kind of does seem to be a little bit slower. Good afternoon. But yeah, it does seem to be a little bit slower on days when there's no real news going on, like no red folder news, no news Monday. That's what they call it. But yeah, so the calm before the storm. Tomorrow we got New Zealand red folder, not really much to worry about. But then we have meeting minutes FOMC speech. If you want to track the speech, you should know where to go by now. Financialjuice.com. But yeah, that's the start of it. Then Thursday, I'm keeping it in your head, keeping it in your brain. Thursday we've got half one CPI, and Friday we have half one PPI, as well as a few other Canadian things as well, and GBP red folder. So it is the calm before the storm. Today is the last day before things start to pick up a little bit, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are typically or specifically Thursday, Friday is when things get a little bit more dangerous, and you want to be a little bit more careful, which we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Good afternoon, Miguel. All we need to worry about today is Tuesday's news, and that's it. Not really much else to worry about. We don't have to look at Wednesday yet. Nothing to worry about in terms of red folder news, so we can just go straight onto the charts now. Before we get started on GJ, I just want to quickly tell you about this Bitcoin trade that I am currently in, and based on this price action, I think I'm just gonna. Right now, I'm break even. I'm 364 up, 350 is flowing. I'm gonna close half of it just to secure something, 190 prof there. So there we are. Yeah, we closed not half of the position with 190 prof. I'll explain this trade for you now. So very quickly before we go on GJ, and I think my subscription seems to be cancelled. I'll sort that out after the stream. That's fucking annoying. We're going to get ads popping up the whole time now. But anyway, this trade on Bitcoin, very quickly before we get started. So we see an accumulation, manipulation, candlestick pattern here, but we hadn't took this liquidity out. Now, I think I did say like the hour candle was going to flip, and it actually didn't. Here, this one didn't flip, which is not usual, really. Like, you can see the candles now. Most of them don't actually have wicks around here. That's very strange. Maybe it's just a Bitcoin thing, but typically we have wicks on either side. So that was a bit annoying. But what I wanted to see was us taking out this liquidity here, maybe even this liquidity up here. But we then took this liquidity out, closed inside of this range still on the 4 hour. So focusing on the 4 hour, we still closed inside of this fair value gap. So we hadn't disrespected it yet. We'd come up, took liquidity grab, and then come down, close inside this range. Then we start pushing to the downside. I got in around about here. I think it might have been at the close of this candle, maybe just a bit after. I can't remember my exact entry, but I entered at that level. That's all I know. And yeah, it was a good entry because we formed a fair value gap straight after it, which gives us that protection, gives us a bit of protection for my trade, because obviously there's this that's in the way before we actually start pushing back up. So I adjusted my stop loss when we formed, I think it was a lower time frame fair value gap just above it, like here. Yeah, when we formed that, I moved my stop loss just above here, as you do. Then when we formed this fair value gap, and that was actually like just before the stream started, I adjusted my stop loss to be break even now. So it's completely risk free, and I've just secured half of the trade. Now, we did take liquidity here, so this would be the area to manage. Once we took this liquidity, targeting this liquidity, ultimately targeting this external range liquidity over here. Obviously, that's quite a push. That is quite a push. But that's the full TP. That's how it goes. You have a full TP. You manage the trade accordingly. And you walk away with a nice profit. So, I moved to break even. I've just closed half, which seems like it was the right move to do. But we'll see how this goes. And the thing here is, because we're accumulating now, it can go like two ways. We can either manipulate down, which would go, great for us, but then obviously distribute up, or we can manipulate up, take out my entry, go into losses, maybe even have an AD cycle. So I got something in my eye, and then continue down. So, no scenario really is good now that we've started to consolidate, unless we have AD to the downside, and it's not looking like that at all. So I'm very happy that I've just closed half then. Seems like it was the right move to do. But that's that trade. We're just going to let that play out now. I'll look to manage again around about here. Maybe when we take out these lows over here. But it doesn't really look the best now. So I'm happy I secured that. Just under 0.5%, which isn't great, but, pays for things. So, yeah, that's Bitcoin out the way. I just wanted to get that out the way very quickly because this trade looks like it could take me out at any point. So, now, GJ. The highlight of the show. Perfect accumulation. Exactly what I wanted to see. Even better, it's literally the diagram. Yesterday, on the live stream yesterday, I was like, the 4 hour has come down to the discount zone of this fair value gap. We do seem to be respecting it quite heavily, which shows we are going to come up a little bit more, probably to this, and then hopefully continue down. But we came into the discount. I was like, this is probably where we're going to start accumulating. So I was like, I drew the diagram. I was like, okay, we need to basically align the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15, and because of all those three, it'll be the 30 minute as well, wouldn't it? So we can align those 4 time frames to basically accumulate, manipulate up, and distribute down. Now we have I'm going to start on the 4 hour. We have a very clear accumulation here. This is exactly what I said for the 4 hour as well. I did say on the 4 hour time frame that it wouldn't be like the exact diagram. If you remember the conversation, I said it wouldn't be a triangle accumulation like this, where it's like, these triangles. It would be more of like long wick doji candles. If you go back to yesterday's live, you can see the exact analysis if you want to see that for some reason. You can. That's what I said. I said we're going to just basically go sideways like barcode for a little bit, straight up, straight down, long wicks. That's what we've got. 1 hour time frame, perfect accumulation. 30 minute, obviously, perfect accumulation. 15 minute, perfect accumulation. Now, with this, you do just want to, you can just do this if you want. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's basically what we're looking at now. Perfect accumulation. Looking to manipulate up into this fair value gap. What I'm going to do is, just to keep things a little bit cleaner, I want to just somehow have a gap between here and there. If we just do this, that should be a little bit better. It just breaks things up a little bit, makes things easier to keep track of. Going to get rid of this. Actually, no, that's the equilibrium, isn't it? Actually, get rid of this line. Sorry, guys, I just like to keep my charts clean. So we got this fair value gap that we've respected here, yeah? Then we've got this fair value gap which we're looking to manipulate up into, and it would literally play out exactly like this. So we accumulate here, perfect, manipulate up, and the good thing about this is it's going to be a manipulation on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15, the 30 minute as well. Okay, so that is the AMD out the way. That's the whole AMD aspect out the way. We're looking to come into the premium zone of that fair value gap with the circle. Look to take look for some candlestick pattern, maybe on the 15, the 30 minute. And because these time frames are aligned, we can use the 15 minute, and it'll be a bit of a stronger confluence. If we were just using the 15 minute simply for the candlestick pattern, it would not be the strongest thing. But the 15 minute is also saying, like, think of it like this, right? You know how we usually do trade the 15 minute accumulation? We'd look for a 15 minute accumulation, then we'd look for the same time frame candlestick pattern. That's basically what we're doing, and we've got the 30 minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour to align with it as well. Okay, that's why we can use the lower time frames for candlestick patterns today specifically. But yeah, we want to see a move into this, which would be manipulation. We have got the manipulation move, to be fair. We want to see a move into this, hopefully at least the purple line. Then we can start looking for candlestick patterns like the morning star, if you've ever heard of that. But yeah, that's what we want to see, you know, something like that, and then take a nice sell position. So once we have the entry, what's the exit going to look like? Well, you know, the standard stuff. Once distribution has took the other side of accumulation, it's done its job, hasn't it? You know what I mean? So that's obviously going to be an area we're looking to manage at. And then ultimate TP, I've gone for here, external range liquidity. We could even maybe push the take profit down to here, and then, you know, manage like I'm doing on the Bitcoin trade. But yeah, you know, that's the exit. It's like, you know, you just set alerts. Once I've fucking sorted my subscription again, don't know what's happened here. Then I can set alerts as I usually do. Set some alerts, and we're chilling. But yeah, that is literally it, I think. One thing I do want to just quickly cover: why are we looking for sells? Why do we care for sells? Why is sells looking so nice today? Well, external. I just want to keep this in your brain, so as this plays out, you'll make sense. Like if you're watching the streams today, every single day, today, whenever, for the next few weeks, what I want to show you is this playing out. So right now we are in an accumulation, yeah. Exactly like we were a few weeks ago. These fucking ads, man. Exactly like we were a few weeks ago in August. If you remember the streams from then. We were waiting for that. We got that. Then we manipulated up, distributed down. I tried to catch a swing trade to the bottom of this range. We didn't get that. And we had the X phase back up to the accumulation range, to this monthly fair value gap. And now we are accumulating. And the thing about this accumulation is that we are at the top of the accumulation range on the daily time frame. Okay? We are at the top of it. See, so what would make sense is if we're in a consolidation and we're at the top of the consolidation range and we're anticipating price to continue consolidating, it makes complete sense to go down to these lows over here. Maybe like to these lows. So we could in fact put our take profit down to here. Maybe if we wanted to. I'll see how that goes. I'll play it by ear. But yeah, that's like the shorter term bias. The longer term bias is obviously the monthly fair value gap, which we're respecting, the daily fair value gap, which we're respecting, the weekly fair value gap, you know, all these different time frame fair value gaps that we are respecting, as well as the monthly being the key one. And then obviously, you know, long term, like super long term bias is bearish simply due to the Shigaru Shiba, which you should know about by now. So that's why sells make the most sense. We're at the top of the accumulation range on the daily, so we're looking to come to the bottom. That's like the confluence. That's kind of like context. It makes sense for that to happen. We are respecting a monthly, weekly, daily fair value gap, and we also have super long-term bias with Shigaru Shiba being hawkish, which means he wants to increase the interest rates, and I've explained how that works multiple times. But that's like really it, guys. Like we're gonna obviously make our way through the other pairs and stuff, but like that's all we want to do. This is the beauty of it. I said yesterday, like there's probably people who are staring at the charts all day, trying to like just like shit. I need to catch the manipulation. I need to wait for manipulation. I need to. We're just going sideways. But we knew that we are anticipating a consolidation, so I was like, we knew that was going to happen. So we just kind of took a step back, you know. We weren't paying too much attention to the charts because it was just going to be going sideways anyway. Now that we're breaking out the range, we can come in, see what's going on, let all these dickhead traders get caught in the manipulation. Then we take a very nice sell position to the downside, as we normally do. Simple stuff. But yeah, so that's GJ. I don't know why I had EJ here, but we're accumulating on EJ as well. We haven't broke out the manipulation range yet, but I think that will happen. Bitcoin, bit of a ball ache really, to be honest. We have talked this up here, so if we want, we can expect a bearish retracement, especially because we're in a bearish fair value gap. Hopefully that plays out. But yeah, AU, what's going on with AU? I think we distributed with AU. I had a quick glance on that yesterday. Yeah, my days, these ads. We just kept melting to the downside. We haven't really had anything, and that's simply just because of the USD. It seems to be taking control of a lot of pairs, and you'll notice one thing: AUDUSD, GBPJPY, and EU or Euro USD. There we go. We got there in the end. You'll notice that all of those pairs are really, really strongly correlated. So see how we've had A, D, A, D, A, D. Like we've just gone down, accumulated, gone down, accumulated, gone down, accumulated. This is on AUDUSD. Let's switch to GU, see what's going on there. Accumulated, distributed, accumulated, distributed, accumulated, distributed. Now this is a bit of a sloppy one, but still the same thing. I guess that's a little bit wrong, to be fair. This is the accumulation here. Then we've gone down again, accumulated. The only cycle of AMD we got was this one here. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. That was the only cycle we've had out of all of this. Let's see what EU. So AUDUSD has been AD, 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 AD. GBPUSD, AD, AD, AD. Let's see what EURUSD is saying. Pretty much the same thing. Like, I haven't really analyzed it as clearly here. But if we just do this, it should make a little bit more sense. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution here. Let's just start off with this cycle right here. Very internal, but A, D, A, M, taking out liquidity, D. A, D, A, D, A, D. And now we're stuck in A. So all three of those pairs are very strongly correlated, and it's not because the euro, the GBP, and the Australian dollar are all coincidentally saying the same thing. It's because the USD is taking control, and you'll notice that a lot. Now the thing is, if you trade any of those pairs, or all of those pairs, or two of those pairs, what you can do is, very quickly, you can actually get the DXY up. If you go onto TradingView, DXY, it's the US dollar currency index. Now what is that? So that is basically, instead of it being the dollar versus the yen, the dollar versus the euro, the GBP USD, Bitcoin USD, whatever it is, it takes a basket of currencies. So it'll take the yen, it'll take the euro, it'll take the GBP, take the AUD, some other ones, and it will pair it, and it basically shows you the dollar against all of those pairs. Think of it like that. Okay, that's the index. Think it's literally like stocks. When you trade the Nasdaq, when you trade the S&P, whatever it is, that is like a summary of a bunch of different stocks. The DXY is literally the same thing for Forex. Okay, but what you'll notice is they have an inverted correlation. So like, basically, we got GU, AD, 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 bearish. EU, AD, 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 bearish. AUDUSD, AD, 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 bearish. DXY is AD, 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 bullish. So you could have used this, and basically a few traders do use this, and you can use it for divergence, you can use it for anything really. You can use it for just extra confluence. Let's say we're in a bullish fair value up on the DXY and a bearish on the EU. You expect to move down on the EU and a move up on the DXY. So, you know, if you trade any of those pairs, you can actually analyze the DXY, and it'll give you a confluence for all of those pairs at once, all of them at once. So instead of going for your daily bias on EU, daily bias on GU, daily bias on AU, just go on DXY and look for your daily bias, and it gives you it. But, you know, we don't really need to discuss that. If we look at gold really quickly, we're still accumulating on gold. Can you do an analysis on USDJPY? Yeah, no problem. USDJPY. Pretty much the same thing. We have had a very clean cycle though. I think this was on Thursday, Friday, yeah. Very clean AMD right here. We had a nice accumulation, nice manipulation, and then we obviously had a distribution. After that, we've kind of just retraced back down whilst also accumulating. So we got a nice accumulation here. Basically just retraced. I don't know why I pinned that yellow, it was already yellow, but basically cooled off. So we had our AMD cool off, and then now we're having the next cycle. If we go to the 4 hour, the daily, actually, it might. Let's see when this happened. I just want to show you something. So, do you remember OHLC? You should know OHLC or OLHC. This is basically higher time frame AMD. So, if we go to the daily time frame, right, I think this is the cycle here. What time is it? If I just put a line on this one. Okay, so see how this played out, right? So we accumulated, then we this is the accumulation here. You can see that. Then we manipulated down to make the wick. I think this also followed through onto the next day as well. And then we had the distribution. So this was over the course of a couple of days. So it's not really the best example, but that's how it works. OHLC, OLHC is basically lower time frame AMD. So this candle, accumulation, manipulate down, distribute up. That's how that candle formed. Just thought I'd touch on that whilst I noticed it. But yeah, so what's going on with USDJPY? We are just simply accumulating inside of a massive fair value gap. If we just draw this out to use the premium discount range, see where we are, we could look for a manipulation to the downside still, and that would be perfect. Might as well just edit it to be put back in. I stopped using them. Like, it's not really the most useful thing, unless the fair value gaps are massive. But yeah, so we could look for a move into here and then a candlestick pattern and take that, and that would make perfect sense as well. If we go to the 15, there probably is a fair, it's just one massive candle, isn't it? Jeez. So yeah, you'd look for an accumulation, manipulation, and the good thing about this is, if you trade supply and demand, if you've ever traded supply and demand, I don't trade it anymore. I understand it. I understand some of it. I'm not like the geek, but supply and demand, basically, the accumulation is basically like a supply zone. Yeah. So when we manipulate into that, when we manipulate into a previous accumulation, we can expect a stronger reaction. So if we manipulate to the downside, this would be in line with a previous accumulation, as we just discussed before. So because it's in line with a supply zone accumulation, it's not always a supply zone, but most of the time it is, and I'm not getting into it, but basically this is a supply zone. There we go. That it's a stronger reaction when we manipulate into a previous accumulation. Yeah, that's all you need to understand. So to answer to give you an analysis, basically what we'd be looking for, what would make the most sense, is an accumulation, manipulation to the downside, and then maybe catch a distribution to the upside, targeting this liquidity over here. Okay, now it's not really a grade A setup because we don't have, like, let's say that this fair value gap was here. Yeah, let's say we had this fair value gap right here. There's an accumulation with this fair value gap here. That would make perfect sense. Like, that would be grade A if we compare that with a candlestick pan, grade A. But we can't, because we can pair it with a candlestick pan, but it's not grade A because we're inside of that fair value gap already. So it's a bit messy. But yeah, that's what I want to see. That would make the most sense. I'm going to drag that up here, just so we can keep track of the analysis tomorrow. Gold still just accumulating. GU, messy. EU, messy. AU, messy. Bitcoin, yeah, it's a bit messy as well. Looks like it really wants to push up. To be fair, though, this could be a bearish move. We could get a bearish move off of this. We'll see how this goes. I'm literally just gonna let this play out now. I'm not gonna, unless price moves downwards, to the management spots, like the other side of the accumulation. Unless it moves there, then I'm not really gonna be looking to manage. Again, I'm just gonna let it literally play out. EJ, I don't know why I have this here. Like, I don't ever use it, but yeah. So that's what we want on GJ. Very simple. Bitcoin in the trade, USDJPY, that's what we want to see, and gold is just accumulating still. But that is pretty much it, guys. Like, a very quick one today. But that's just because we know what to expect. Like, everyone here who wants to take a trade today should know exactly what to look for now. The only reason we're trading this without the context, just to clarify, if you remember our conversation from yesterday, the reason we're trading this without the context is because we're able to align so many time frames together. Or basically just because we're using the 4 hour. Now, you could wait for a context if you want to play it safe, but I am going to take the trade when we get a candlestick pattern. All we need to do now is wait for a nice candlestick pattern to form inside of this fair value gap. Once we get the candlestick pattern, we can take the entry. It's literally as simple as that. I've shown you how to take the entry. I've shown you where we want to look for the entry, and I've shown you the management spots to exit the trade. Now, I think I am going to put my full TP down here, which is this liquidity right here. I am obviously going to put my full TP there. manage here, and manage here as well. But that is it, guys. Like, there's nothing else to this. Like, I'm not going to sit here and wait for this to happen for a few hours because we're on the 1 hour time frame. You know, it's like, you know, we can discuss it in the Discord server. So, first of all, guys, make sure you like the stream. It really does help me out. I hate to ask for all that stuff. But if you want to join and you want to keep track of this analysis, you want to see when we see we're taking the entries, all that stuff, join the free Discord, which is the first link in the description. There is also a free course in there, and I'm also doing daily market outlooks. So at like 10, 11 p.m. every single night at BST time. So at the end of the day, BST, start of Asian session, basically, I will do my market outlook for the next day. And today, and yesterday, we discussed this exact move happening. And in yesterday's live, we discussed this exact move happening. So if we can get a nice candlestick pattern now, the final piece of the puzzle, we can take a very clean trade to the downside, hopefully. But yeah, like the stream up, guys. Really helps me out. Have a good rest of your day. Join the free Discord if you want to, catch this move with us. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I know it's been a short stream, but there's not really much. There's not much to cover. I've gone through all the pairs. I've gone through GJ. I've told you what I want to see, and I've told you what I want to. How I would get out the trade. Now all that's left to do is literally just be patient, wait for your setup, wait for your criteria, which is the candlestick pattern. We're coming into this fair value gap now, and then take the position with confidence. Obviously, make sure you got good risk management, all that stuff. But that's it. There's nothing else to say, guys. All we got to do now is wait for the candlestick pattern. So if you want to catch me taking this trade, and you want to, discuss the trade with other people and me, join the free Discord. First thing in the description. Really helps me out. Like the stream, all that lovely stuff. No worries, Dan. Happy to help. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time. And yeah, that's it. Take care, guys. Have a lovely rest of your day. Let's hope we can take this trade in the next few hours. Yeah.